Yo, what is good, Celtics Nation? Welcome back to the Bleed Green podcast, man. We are 10 games into the season. Celtics are 10-2 right now, I believe, right, Ricky, or maybe 9-2. But with that being said, we just beat the Sixers a couple days ago. Came on, beat the Raptors last night in a very ugly win. But hey, you know what? A win is a win. If you guys watched the post game show, pretty much what we came to conclusion of. But the team looks good overall, man. We versus 76ers are missing JB and Porzingis. Came out with a big win, a big bounce back win, because last time we played them we lost, and then just beat the Raptors, looking pretty good. But Ricky, how are you feeling over the last couple of games? Do you think there's any areas to be concerned with, or are we still kind of in the same area? Bench needs to be better. How are you feeling overall?
It is 10-2 Fubs. So that's
10-2?
first things first. So we're 11 games into the
Okay.
season. I'm sorry, 12
12.
games. We can't do math on this show apparently.
Yep. It's always, yep.
Yeah. So to answer your question, I mean, I'm pretty much feeling the same that I've honestly felt throughout preseason and into now. Pretty much ever since we acquired Drew Holiday, I pretty much have
Yep.
felt this exact same way, which is, you're gonna ride the highs and lows of an 82 game season. Obviously, we've seen a lot of great things from this team. We've seen a lot of not so great things from this team. But the fact of the matter is we've seen more quality quarters of basketball than we haven't. And now you could say that's, us playing to the level of competition. We haven't played. I'm actually getting into a barbershop talk. I was at the barber today and
Yep.
got a Lakers fan right next to me, a Knicks fan right next to me, and I got my Lakers jersey on. I mean, my Celtics jersey on, but the other guy's
Yep.
got a Lakers shirt on, and he's talking shit. He's talking to me about how he ain't playing nobody, blah, blah, blah. Look, we play within the conference that we're playing against. I mean, realistically,
Yep.
Miami and Philadelphia and New York, you could make the case those are quality opponents. Those are teams that are going to give you
Yep.
fits, some nights. Are you better than those teams? Yes. Are you stacked on a roster perspective better than those teams? Absolutely. But at the end of the day, you can't always beat the team if everything looks the same on paper.
Yeah.
In other words, we're looking so much more superior than these teams, but that doesn't always mean that we're going to beat everyone by 30.
Yeah.
When we're coming out of the gate and 3 games into the season, we're beating the Pacers by 60 points. That can't happen every game.
No,
People
every
have to
game is
temper
different.
Right. So, we got a little excited because guys were getting arrested in the fourth quarter. We were coming out gangbusters and killing people. But look we're in a 5-game winning streak now, right?
Yep.
We're in a
Another
good another good winning streak. This is what we were talking about in the preseason, stringing wins together.
Yep.
Not just coming in winning 1, dropping 1, winning 3, dropping 2. It's about how many wins can you string together. And so far, they've strung a 4-game winning streak and a 5-game winning streak. Out of the
think
10,
2 5s. I think 2 5s.
okay, so 2 5s. Okay, so that would make sense. So we've lost, 10. We've won 10 games. We've lost 2. Stringing these games together and having quality wins against good opponents, right? And also beating down on the bad ones.
That's
I
what we
really
need to be
think
doing.
I really think besides the Raptors game last night, I really feel like we have played above the level of competition overall.
Yep.
Okay. And you know me, Fubs, I'm going to call a spade here. If we suck, I'm just going to flat out say it. I'm a Celtics fan, but I like to think I'm a little bit more objective than some. And I
Yep.
try to look at it, everything objectively for what it is. So, when I see them play Philly, or I see them play New York and we just went by a couple of possessions, I feel like we're just playing to the level of competition. Those teams are good. They're going to give us runs, and it's, basketball's a give and run. So it's just a matter of putting up more points than the other team. But when you're playing Indiana and you're playing some of these lesser teams, Charlotte and some of these other, bottom of the barrel teams, the Bulls, beating these teams that just quite frankly don't stack up for you in multiple facets, not just in a matchup perspective, but beating those teams in the manner that they have, again, I really feel like aside from, we whooped on the Raptors the first time we played them, right?
Yep.
So
It's
this
hard
time
to
around,
beat a team twice in a row. It really is, because you make adjustments, and then I feel like the Raptors did a good job making adjustments in that last game. The first game we smacked them around, so it's very hard. People underestimate, even though you're playing a bad team, teams adjust. And when you win by 30, there's not gonna be too many adjustments you're gonna make. So you know what I mean? Like, the other team will adjust, and you'll kind of play the game that you played last time, and that's why this one was so close. Same thing with the Sixers. They beat us first time, and then we took them the second time. It is so hard in the NBA to beat a team 2-3 times in a row.
It is, but it should be a lot easier when your level of competition is so much more inferior. And again,
Fair.
I won't regurgitate too much information from the post game. If you guys want to check that out, feel
Yep.
free. Check out our post game coverage. But the fact of the matter is if the Celtics played that way against an opponent that had a closer, we would have lost that game, and that's
no doubt.
without a doubt in my mind. So when I'm watching the fourth quarter of that game, especially after a terrible third quarter, after an amazing second quarter, I'm thinking to myself, they're really not stepping up into the level they're capable of playing. I feel like really ultimately they're only playing to their level of competition, which I find frowned upon. But again, it's an 82 game season. You're going to have games like that where guys just aren't bringing their A game, and not everything is, smooth sailing. And so if you're going to expect these guys to perform A plus 82 games, I mean, you're just expecting something completely unrealistic. And, I know nobody here is expecting that. And I know I'm not either, but the biggest thing I want to see from this team, Fubs, is consistency. Have I seen that to the caliber that I want to see? No. But have I seen an improvement from last season as far as consistency, particularly in the third quarter, particularly beating teams in a fashion that we should be beating them? Yes, I have. I got to be honest about that.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, we're doing a good job beating the teams we should. Last season, we lost the Magic 3 times. That better not happen again this year. Let's take care of business. But one thing I will say, something I've been really proud about, we're very pleased with over the last couple of games here, the bench, man. Not only Al Horford stepping up, looking like, he's turning back the clock a little bit, but dude, Sam Hauser, and we've been preaching about this ever since preseason, ever since episode 1, Ricky. The bench needs to step up. We ultimately thought it was going to be Peyton Pritchard, but Sam Hauser's came in here and he's won his job. He's solidified himself as maybe even the best shooter on our team in terms of coming off screen, just catch. Dude, the one thing I really love about Sam Hauser, and watch this for next game, he can catch it here, he can catch it here, wherever he catches it, he's shooting it. He's wherever he catches the ball, he's got a good release point. Love that out of Sam Hauser. I want to see Peyton Pritchard continue to step up. I feel like, we're kind of saying that a lot here, but we need him to step up. He's going to be an X factor for this team down the line. We can't just rely on, Jalen and Jason to carry load every single. I mean, last game, for example, Jason had a terrible night. We still ended up winning that game. But if we play a better team and play like that, we're going to lose a lot of the time. So, we are still taking a lot of threes. We're shooting about 36% from 3 this season, 12th best in the NBA. Not exactly where we need to be, especially when you're taking 53s a game, but it's also not bad. It's not bad at all. Another thing we've been
it's not bad for the poor quality of shot selection that they've been having. I see a lot of bad shots, a lot of bad shots.
You know what I hate, Ricky? And JB did this yesterday. So he had 0 points. It was the early first quarter, but he pulled up on a fast break on a 3. Just pulled up, took it himself, and pulled up a 3. Like 20 seconds on the shot clock. Why do that? I understand if you're 3 or 4 from 3, 4 or 4 from 3. Yeah, take that shot, but why take it when you have yet to even hit a shot yet? Those are the shots, and it's not just Jalen. I see Jason doing it. I see Drew doing it. I see Derek. They all do it, and obviously Joe Mazzulla's sitting back. He's like, "Listen,
that's the answer. That's why." You don't have to dig any. You don't have to dig any further. Everything related to the mythology of this offense, everything leads back to Joe Mazzulla. If this team falls short on the offensive side of the ball this season, it's Joe's fault. Ultimately, because of the scheme. And I don't want to hear it. Oh, they got to make the shots. Blah blah blah. No, if you're not shooting at a high enough capability, then you need to adjust and you need to go to the basket. So then you can create new shooting opportunities from 3, because it's the definition of insanity, Fubs. We're doing the same thing repetitively and expecting a different result. And that is not the way to win games at a high level. So listen, if you're shooting 60%, keep shooting. If you're shooting,
I mean, even if you're shooting 40%,
50, 45%. Okay, fair. You're shooting 45%, keep shooting. Totally agree with you. If you're 3 of 10 to start the game, maybe go to the basket a few more times, then maybe make 2 threes, and then get that number closer to 40%, and then work it from there.
Get to the free throw line, attack the basket.
And that's the other thing. We're missing out on free throws because we have long, athletic wings that can go to the basket and draw a foul. So go do that. Go do that thing.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. I will say the ball movement looks a lot better this year, but we are still forcing threes. I feel like we can. The one thing that we're doing, we're spreading up. We have five wide. We're getting some screens here and there from Chris Apps, who he's going to either pick and roll, he's going to pick and pop. He's very difficult to stop, so I love that. But when he's not on the floor, it's just five out, five wide. Someone drives, they draw two defenders, we kick to the corner and swing it all the way around. Eventually, we get somewhat of an open three. There's going to be a closeout defender, but that's pretty much our offense. Pretty predictable at most of the time. But I want, like we're saying, like we've been saying, I want to see more post play. Porzingis.
But that ball movement, Fubs, is the most inconsistent part of this Celtics offense right now. Out of all the pieces you can take, right, and you can try to say, okay, where are we not? Okay, let's compare, right? We're talking the second quarter of last night to third quarter, right? What's the difference, right? The big difference is ball movement. The ball not moving into the right shooter's hands to get the open shot. It's a lot of fast break, pull up the three, shoot it, 18 seconds left on the shot clock. Not a quality shot. I don't care. I don't care who it is. Unless it's Steph Curry taking that shot, it's not a quality shot because you could get a better shot with 18 seconds left. I can assure you of that. 9 times out of 10. Yeah. Can once in a while you pull up because you're feeling it? Sure. And that's obviously when we're talking about we're shooting 45%. Go ahead, pull up.
Like JB from Washington game. He was on fire that game.
Sure, keep shooting. Yeah. If it's falling, keep shooting. Nobody is saying not to shoot the basketball if you're feeling it. But if you're 1 of 10 from 3 like Tatum is last night, stop shooting the 3. Go to the basket. You're one of the most dominant players to put. I'm not going to repeat this because I already said this the other night. Put the ball on the floor. Go to the basket. You are an MVP candidate this year. You are dynamic, top 3 NBA talent. Not up for debate. Not up for debate. He's top 3 right now. So you have the talent to do it. So just go do it. Why do we have to constantly just sit there with our hands over our heads saying, why did you take that shot? That's a big reason why Marcus Smart's not here, because he constantly did that stuff all last season. He just chucking up threes unnecessarily. And so we're trying to change the DNA. We're trying to change the team. You add Chris Tapps, you add Drew, and those guys added extra dynamic, especially defensively and offensively, getting twos. And they've done a good job overall, but the ball movement, Fubs, has been the biggest inconsistency. And when the ball moves, we score.
We're unstoppable.
When the ball doesn't move, when the ball stops at Tatum and Brown, especially Brown, the ball stops at Brown, we're not scoring.
Yep. No, I mean, I do agree that when our ball movement is on par, when it's on key, when it's at the top of its potential, we are almost unstoppable. When the threes are falling, we're almost unstoppable. But aside from the offense and aside from third quarters, let's pull up the stat real quick. So Celtics ranking number 2 in points in the first quarter, number 12 points in the second quarter, then number 27 in third quarter points per game. I mean, and then they go to 7 in fourth quarter. So there's a clear drop off. I don't know if it's a lack of adjustments in halftime. I feel like maybe Joe Mazzulla goes into half like, okay, we're up 6, we're down 5. Let's just keep playing our basketball. We'll get the win. With the threes will start falling. I don't know if they just don't make adjustments or they just come out sluggish. But this has been a problem dating back since even when Ime Udoka was here. It feels like, right? It's just been a Celtic thing. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's Jalen. Maybe it's Jason. Maybe it's them two together just come out slow. But that's something we need to fix. But aside from the chucking up threes, stop the inconsistency in the ball movement and the lack of third quarter play overall, I feel like the offense looks good, but the defense looks really good this year. We're ranking top 10 in points allowed in every single quarter. We're ranking number 5 in points allowed per game, number 1 in average score margin, number 4 in fast break points allowed per game, number 3 in points in the paint allowed. I mean, our defense looks good. Our defense looks up to par. Maybe not as good as that Ime Udoka-led defense, but it looks like they actually made it a point of emphasis to communicate, to rotate, and just play good defense. So that is something I'm very excited about. Whenever you can average or hold a team to 105 points in this day, in this modern NBA era, that is amazing. That is truly amazing. So I want to continue to see that up. But man, I mean, we're just a few things away. You talk about that passing. You talk about the threes that we're taking and having better IQ in shot selection. This team is, like we said to start, this should be the favorite. We should be the favorite with the depth that I'm not the depth, but the starting lineup that we have. Oh, I mean, we look good. There's some things we can iron out, but
there's no potential to there, Fubs. And I think ultimately, when you're talking about a championship run, I've said this already. It's your top 7 guys. With your top 7 guys, what can they produce? Because those are the guys that are going to be playing minutes in the ECF and in the finals.
Yep.
Plain and simple. I mean, they don't. You don't see the 8th, 9th, 10th guy in the rotation coming out unless you're up 40 or 20 or you're down 30. You know what I mean? You don't see that. I mean, nobody goes out and tries to get a guy who barely played all season come off the bench and get a spark when it's 3-2 in game 6. You know what I mean? Nobody's doing that. So realistically, the top 7 guys in your rotation are the top 7 guys in your rotation. And obviously the buck stops with Al. Al's going to be bona fide 6th. The real question is who's going to be number 7. As of right now, I'm very comfortable with Hauser. I'm very comfortable with Hauser. Would I appreciate a kind of a big to kind of be paired with Hauser in the sense of like, depending on the matchup, if you're playing a Miami Heat, you instead of Hauser coming out for more minutes, you got a guy who plays a 4 or 5 position where you can kind of match up better with Bam because he's going to give you fits in moments, especially with Kristaps, because he's just not that type of defender. I think ultimately we are one player away from really feeling truly confident in our dominance. Now, don't get me wrong. I think as everything that it currently stands, I think we're still making the finals. I still think we have the most superior team in the NBA. But do weird things happen? Does a lower seed Miami Heat team beat you in game 7? Yeah. The stuff happens. This is the NBA. Nothing's
Injuries,
ever as
there's a bunch of things that can go down that can just turn our season around. So
it's that, or it's guys get cold. Jimmy Butler turns it on. Bam does Bam things. Tyler Hero always, becomes lights out. He didn't play in the series last year. You know what I mean? And he seems to be playing fairly well this season. And, if you catch a team at the right time on fire, you're maybe a little bit wishy-washy. Those things happen. So I really feel like overall, I feel confident in this team. But I would like to see one more addition added to the team. I'm not absolving Peyton Pritchard. I'm not saying cut him or trade him. I think we should still try to develop him and try to make it work. But I think, and let's see who can step up into the role. But they clearly don't have any confidence in Svi or Quinta or any. Oh, well, Quinta's hurt, I believe, right?
I think he's back. I think he's back healthy. They just have Luke Cornett on a higher tier because he's been here. He's been in the system. I know you don't like him. We got to give him credit. In the Sixers game, he was good. He was good in the Sixers game.
Looks like a deer in headlights most of the time.
But you know what's interesting? You brought up the fact that maybe bring in another 4, maybe another 5 that can come in here and just give you 5-6 minutes a game whenever we need him. You know who was just a free agent picked up very quickly? Daniel Tice. Went to the Clippers, got cut.
Yeah, I would
have.
He had 2 stints here. I wouldn't care about a third. I mean, he was once upon a time he was a starter here. You know what I mean? Which is
he could shoot the 3 ball. He was a little foul happy. He fouled a lot.
You could get him to jump. Unfortunately, I don't think he'd be our Bam problem solver. But I tell you what, I would take him over Luke Cornett. I tell you that much.
All right, let me ask you a question. You taking Luke Cornett or are you taking Tyler Zeller? Weird question. I just hated Tyler Zeller. I'm not gonna lie.
I don't care for him much either. I'd say sign the man to a 10-day and let's see what he's got. You know what I mean? I don't know. I just don't think Luke Cornett's going to give you anything.
That says a lot. That you say maybe Tyler Zeller, that actually says a lot in my opinion.
I don't know, dude. But I don't know. At this point, I might be willing to give Dwight Howard a 10-day and let's see what he's got. I don't know, bro. I just fear that this low post game, this defensively for us, I feel like is a potential for a problem for a team like the Bucks, which I mean, I'm not really afraid of the Bucks right now because they can't seem to figure out how the team is supposed to work. It just seems like an absolute.
Now they're picking up a little bit now. In the beginning, they were terrible,
but let's say prime example, like worst case matchup for the Boston Celtics in a finals is Jokic.
Yeah, it would definitely be Jokic. Yeah.
It's a matchup nightmare for the Celtics as things currently stand. Especially, so say that Porzingis could guard him, right? What are you going to do when Porzingis needs rest? Because he's going to have to get rest. Is Al going to be the guy?
Al's going to have to play 28, 30 minutes a night if we're going to rely on him.
So and this is consisting that guys stay healthy. You know what I mean? That guys stay healthy all year round. So obviously you don't want to assume people get banged up and get hurt. It's inevitable, but you just hope that when they do, it's minor and they can come back in a very short time span. Which, speaking of that, side note, we got Marcus Smart and Rob Williams, unfortunately, are looks like Marcus is not going to make his debut for the Celtics.
Or against the Celtics.
Against the Celtics, I should say. Yeah.
Tomorrow, he won't be there.
Kind of a weird
Brogdon's hurt too. Brogdon's hurt too.
Well, I mean, the writing was kind of on the wall there.
Hey, you know what? Prayers out to those guys. Hopefully they get
Yeah, for sure. I mean, you don't want to see anybody hurt.
Yeah, I want to see them succeed, especially Rob and Marcus. I want to see those guys do really good things, to be honest. But with that being said, we play the Grizzlies tomorrow. Should be a win. They're missing John Morant. They're missing Marcus Smart. That should be a win. We go on and take Charlotte in Charlotte. That should be a win. They're not as good.
That should be a 20-plus point win.
I will say, though, the Hornets, for some reason, have a good roster. They're just not... I mean, you got LaMelo, you got Terry, you got Gordon Hayward, you got Mark Williams, you got Miles Bridges and PJ. They have a good roster. They have guys. They have names.
Bridges just came back, right?
He did. He just came back. I think, yesterday.
So we'll see what that dynamic does for them. I don't
and
foresee
they have Brandon Miller. That's a good team. Like, names-wise, it's not bad.
It's young. They're very young. They have a very young team. I mean, you mentioned three of those guys. I think have been in the league less than 4 years.
Yeah.
Or more.
I could see that being a trap game or coming down to the wire. If I'm being honest, if we beat the Grizzlies, we're on a 6-game winning streak in Charlotte. I could see that being a trap game, but hopefully that should be a win.
I think. Yeah. So that's really where I pencil. That maybe all good things may come to an end. I do foresee them winning the next 2 games, 7-game winning streak. Hopefully can ride the high. Hopefully can catch Milwaukee still trying to figure things out. It seems like they play okay, but it just seems like they can't win games. Yeah. They're struggling to win games. So I'm going to pick Boston to win that game.
It's in Boston, which is very important.
Yeah, which is important, right? So I am going to pick Boston to win that game, but ultimately it's not. Dude, I mean, Giannis is just so amazing, and it's so hard to.
I'm curious to see because we used to throw Grant on him a lot of the time last year. Mm-hmm. We don't have Grant, so is it going to be O'Shea Brissett? Is it going to be Lamar Stevens? Is it just going to be Jalen and Jason? Is it going to be Drew? We're going to have to throw bodies on him. I don't. Do we have the bodies to do it this year? I don't really know.
I mean, he's probably gonna draw a lot of double coverage, and it's really gonna come down to who they're going to allow to stay open, and if they're gonna make shots.
Yeah, you know what though, Ricky, we have one thing going for us, right? We have the revenge game. Drew Holiday, baby, revenge game. That's why we're winning right there. Hey, you know what though? We have the guards to defend Dame.
We do have the guards to defend game, and that's actually a really fun matchup to think. And I would think that, well, no, that's not true because I would put White on Dame.
He's more
quick. But I would then force the double with Drew and maybe Porzingis and see if you can get him to turn over the ball enough to be I mean, let's be honest. Giannis is a guy you slow down. It's not a guy you stop. I mean, that's just the type. There are 10 guys in the league that you say that about. Tatum's one of them. Giannis, LeBron, Jokic, KD. Yep, right. Steph, especially Steph. If you can hold that guy to under 30, you did your good job. It's just one. There's just a 10 of those guys in the league, or maybe even less, that it's like no matter what, they're gonna get 25 or more. You just hopefully you can hold them under 30. And that's Giannis. If you can hold Giannis to 25 points, you probably win the game. Unless Lillard's the one dropping 40 behind him. But if he's dropping 25, Dame's dropping 25, and the next guy behind him dropping 10 or 12, you probably win that game.
Yeah, I feel like we definitely have to shut down one of them. I don't know who it's going to be. I feel like we have the ability to shut down one of them. Hopefully it's... who would you rather stop? If you could come into this game and say you're going to hold one of them to 15 points, who would you rather be? Giannis?
Giannis. Yeah, absolutely. Because
I kind of go Dame just because he can shoot threes. I don't want Dame hitting 7 threes this game and 30 points just for threes.
So for me, Dame is dangerous when it's a possession or two type game. So Dame for me he's probably one of my favorite guards in the league. I loved him, in Portland. I love what he did in Portland. I got a Dame rookie year jersey. I love Dame. So he's one of my guys as far as guys that I watch and love watching. He's a super explosive player, dynamic player. Obviously, clutch threes is where he got his name from, and so. my whole thing with Dame is he seems to be whenever it's within reach, if they're trailing and it's a 2-3 possession game, he is the
Yes.
scariest person at that very point. Not to say he's not good the whole game, because he is, but
Yeah.
like if you're winning by 12 with a minute and a half to go, I'm not worried about Damian Lillard in the way that I would be worried about Giannis just putting his head down and getting in once. Because then that creates issues for me, I feel like, for us, because then we're going to start losing. The lead's going to start getting cut, and then we're going to start hucking threes, because that's going to happen. And we're going to miss those threes that we huck, and then there goes Giannis, head down again, getting twos, because all I need is to do this 2 or 3 times, and I'm within striking distance. And then, I mean, at that point, Dame might be the one who puts it away, but Giannis is going to be the one that closes the gap.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, with that being said, I think this is gonna be a big one. It's gonna be a fun one. I think it's an ESPN game. Very excited. I want you guys to do me a favor real quick. Comment down below your score prediction for this Bucks Celtics game. I want to see what you guys have to say about it. I think it's gonna be a tight one. I think it's gonna come down to the wire, maybe even an OT game. Have we had an OT game? We have. Timberwolves. So maybe this is gonna be our second OT game of the year. I feel like the matchup between Dame and Drew is going to be something to see. I feel like the intensity level is probably gonna be like a playoff type of atmosphere, just because of it's in Boston. We know that Drew's going facing his old team, and I just feel like it's going to be a crazy atmosphere. So let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Hit the like button, subscribe if you're new, comment down below any questions, because right now, me and Ricky are diving into questions that you guys asked, and you guys can ask questions every single week. We're going to be answering a ton of them. But Ricky, let's jump right in. So let me just start with this one. So Cooper the Hooper said, what level of consistency will our bench be able to reach? Sam Hauser has been very inconsistent in his performance, and Peyton Pritchard has been the same with Al Horford not even being able to make open corner threes consistently. Well, this question's interesting. I feel like you probably a couple of days ago or a couple of weeks ago, I would have definitely agreed with this. The bench looked terrible, Ricky. But I feel like lately, like we said before, Sam Hauser has actually been Mr. Consistent in November, shooting upwards of 56% from 3. Al Horford in the past 2 games has been electric, and I know it's small sample size, 2 games. We need to see that over the entirety of the season. But I'm actually kind of confident in our bench right now, outside of Peyton Pritchard. How are you feeling?
So I would say I don't think it's going to get much better than what Al and
this is
Sammy Buckets are giving you, right? Do I think that Peyton has more to offer? Yeah, of course I do. I think he absolutely does, and I think you're going to hit him in spots, but I don't think it'll be consistent, because he's just not going to get I just think there's too many mouths to feed, and I feel like he's kind of the odd man out right now. I don't see that changing unless there's going to be an knock on wood, hopefully not an injury. I just don't see that being the case. I think what you're getting out of Sam Hauser is the best you're going to get out of Sam Hauser.
But it's amazing. We don't need any more.
No. I'm not. Yeah, no. I don't think it's gonna. This is not sustainable. So if anyone thinks that Sam Hauser is gonna shoot like this for the entirety of the season, I'm sorry. It's not going to happen. That doesn't mean he's not going to be able to shoot like 38% from 3, which is still great in the grand scheme of things. What is he at now, Fubs?
I'm looking right now. So he's shooting
for a season. What is his season at right now?
3-point shooting is at 45%. But get this: last year he shot 42. The season before that, shot 43. So he's always been above 42%.
Okay, so fair enough. So let's just say on the lower end of that, you're looking at 42%. That's probably what you're going to get if you get a percentage. Yeah, that's great. That's fantastic.
Ricky, hear this. He's shooting 6 threes a game, too. So it's not like he's shooting 2 threes a game. He's shooting 6 threes a game, hitting 45%.
So when I say unsustainable, though, Fubs, I'm talking about this month.
I know. This month he's shooting 56%. That's
right. So that's not sustainable. So unfortunately, I mean, if he does, I mean,
he better if he's not in the 3-point contest, I'm going to be livid.
If he shoots 56% average for the season, we're winning a championship. Period. And I'm not saying that he's the definitive factor, but if he's shooting like that, everyone else is healthy, then we don't have an issue as far as depth, because Al's coming off the bench, Sam's coming off the bench, and everyone else can sit down. You know what I mean? That's going to be the rotation. And if you've got a guy coming off the bench shooting 56% from 3, that's dangerous. That's thinking about Duncan Robinson a few years back, that's more dangerous than that guy. And that guy was giving you fits 3 years ago. So it's ultimately Not going to get much better than this for those two guys. Can it get better for Pritchard? Yes. But the other problem with that is it's going to decline a little bit for Sam. So let's call it equal. I don't know what those three guys are averaging as far as points per game. It's probably not getting better than what it is right now.
Yeah. Yeah.
If it stays
agree.
at this pace in a combination of the guys getting X amount of points as currently situated, I think you'd have to be okay with that.
I would 100% be okay with Sam and Horford, and the potential of Payton Pritchard probably rising.
That's what I mean. Like one guy has an off night, Pritchard
Yeah.
picks it up. Pritchard has an off night, Sam picks it up. I'm talking about in totality as things currently stand.
No, so with that being said, I am totally okay with our bench right now. If it starts to decline over the next couple months, then I will say, Brad, let's go and make a move. But if it stays at this level, dude, or even near it, I'm completely fine with their bench. I feel like they've been doing a great job since the start of the season. They've gotten better. But Ricky, let's go through these questions a little bit quicker because we do have a lot here. So next questions is KP our second best scoring option? And will this? All right, we'll have to answer the next one after. So let's just do, is KP our second best scoring option? I would say no. I would say still third. I would still say Jason, JB, KP.
Yeah. No, yeah, he's not. He's just because I feel like it ultimately everyone's kind of hot on KP because he's the new hot commodity and he's had a great start to the season. But I think when the dust settles, when all the averages come out and you talk about second team All NBA, JB's going to be that guy.
Yeah. But with that being said, also, I think it's matchup dependent. I feel like KP could be the second best scoring option on a given night, but not consistently. Next question.
Yeah.
Next question is, will the Celtics trade Payton Pritchard, Brissett, and picks for a guy like Alex Caruso? I mean, maybe.
Sure. If they want to do something silly like that. I mean, I know the Bulls are kind of going through it right now. So, sure. If they want to do that, I would love Alex Caruso. He's a dog. I take Zach LaVine right now. I know he's on the market. So
I don't think we got the money for that right now, Ricky.
Listen, you just dip into. I ain't chipping in for nothing. You see those guys? See what those guys be driving? They can dip into the luxury tax if they want to. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, but at the same regard, could you even afford that contract? I don't know what Alex. I don't know what Alex Caruso's making, but I know the salary numbers have to. I know the salary numbers have to match.
It might match.
Although I would say this: Payton Pritchard might benefit from going to the team like the Bulls. Honestly,
he might. They do have Kobe White, who's kind of a very similar type of play, but maybe I think Caruso would be an excellent fit here in Boston. Don't get me wrong; I would love him here in Boston. Sure. I just don't see the Celtics moving on from Pritchard so soon. That's probably.
I'd like KD in Boston too, but I mean that's just not realistic. Or Devin Booker. How about is Devin Booker up for a trade? Can I get Devin Booker on my team?
It's not gonna happen, Ricky, unless like you want to take money out of your bank. But
No. I ain't taking anything out of my bank. They make plenty of money over there.
Okay, that one was from Will Reed, so shout out to Will Reed. Next question, Landon Lakes, one of my mods in my stream, so shout out to my guy Landon Lakes. He says, how likely is it that we see the Celtics in the Vegas in-season tournament finals? They're 2-0 right now, Ricky. Looking pretty good. I just feel like the Celtics are one of those teams that our 7 players are making a lot of money. You know what I mean? Besides maybe Sam Hauser. But can I
just say, and all due respect to the guy answering the question, know that your boy, I don't care. And can I just say something real quick about this in-season tournament? It sucks. I'm not interested. Your courts look like trash. JB complained about the safety of the courts. It doesn't seem like they're sustainable to the level of the competition. I'm out. I'm out on the in-season tournament. I want nothing to do with it. To answer your question, it's possible, but I don't care. I literally don't care. What I care about is these guys are healthy for the playoffs, the thing that actually matters, which is the championship. So I know it's a hot new commodity, and I'm sure guys want to win the very first one. And if they do, great, fine, pat on the back. But that's all you're getting from me because it doesn't really equivalate to a championship.
No, it doesn't. I would say, Ricky, that I know you don't care, but I don't think the players care either. I think they're more like... I'm
out on the tournament. After the whole court debacle, I'm out. I'm out on the tournament.
Yeah, so my reason behind it is because, the winner gets or all the players get $500K. Our top 7 players already are making enough money. We know JB's contract, JT, Drew, all those guys are making money. So I don't think the Celtics are sitting here saying, let's go win the tournament. No, I don't think they're saying that. But I will say one thing. Because obviously, these counters regular, they're just playing games. They're playing games. If they win them, if they get to the championship game, maybe they try in the championship. But I think right now they're not concerned about it. But that's what I'll say about it. I think we could get there. but I don't think that's our true goal right now. Let's see. Do you think, and this one's from Jonathan Maltavo. He says, do you think JT will have a big injury soon? He has been really, really healthy in the last 2 years, and I think it's just a matter of time. Well, let's hope not.
No, I'm not speaking that into the universe. I very much frown on this question. I don't want even that in the atmosphere.
Yeah, JT will be completely fine. He's got a healthy season, MVP type of season, and he will not get injured. Let's hope. All right, Yogi, next question says, do we make a trade in February? All depends on Payton Pritchard. I think Payton Pritchard is the X factor if he plays good. No, if he plays bad for the entirety of...
I don't think it's as dependent on Pritchard. I think it just depends on where the team is as a whole. I think Brad does a good job of evaluating where the team lacks. And I think regardless of how Pritchard plays, if they feel like there isn't a low post presence, or if they feel like offensive rebounds are hurting them, or if they feel like, point guard play just isn't sufficient enough, he will make a move during the season. But at the same time, if things are looking the way it is, it's very highly probable that he's not going to want to mess with the chemistry of the team. And I would say that that's totally fair.
I would say if there is a trade, it's going to be like similar to last season, like a Mike Muscala type of guy coming in.
Like a almost irrelevant trade once the postseason comes.
Yeah, exactly. I think it would be something like that just to shore up the big man.
It'll be a trade that all Celtics fans get hot and bothered over, and it's not even gonna the guy's gonna play 0 minutes in the postseason. It's gonna be so great.
No, I was one of those people, Ricky. I love Mike Muscala.
I'm sure you did, folks. I have no problem with it either way. I don't know if Pritchard will be the definitive factor. If they do trade for a point guard, it will be because of Pritchard. But it wouldn't surprise me if we went and got a guy who could like a Mike Muscala, right? That's just kind of hey, we just need this guy to add some depth. Quinta's not working out, Cornette's not working out. This is obviously foreshadowing. And to be able to just kind of have a guy in there just to give guys more ability to rest during games. And be able to take time off if they need it.
Yeah, so I feel like if we do make a trade, it will be a small one. But next question. Tom Grossi Enjoyer asked, with a fully healthy Celtics team, who are the biggest threats to the finals? I feel like we already really said that. Or wait, biggest threats to our finals run. So does that mean in the East? I would say the Bucks.
It's Miami.
Miami? You think Miami again?
Yeah, it's Miami.
They lost Gabe Vincent and who else?
I don't know, man. I don't think they're really putting up their front effort. And again, I put a premium on coaching, and Spo is just in a class of his own. I mean, he really, really is. I think that if he was coaching a team with our caliber, they would have a chance to take a stab at the Golden State regular season record. I'm not even exaggerating. I think if you had a guy at his caliber, that would be all of that would be a wrap and then some. I'm not throwing shade at Joe. I just think that there is something there with Spo. I think there's something about Jimmy Butler's grit and just overall passion to win games and to put guys away. The dog in him. Bam has been a matchup nightmare now for 4 or 5 seasons for us. We played him. We had no answer for him at all. Chris Stapps couldn't do anything against him. And so could it be a depth problem? Sure. But wasn't it a depth problem last year? And then Gabe Vincent came out here and gave you fits. So who's to say it's not going to be some other guy that they get buy-in from that's going to come in and give you that? I know they use the word heat culture, right? That's the thing that they're going by. Listen, they did something last year I thought they would never be able to do. So I don't know if I can necessarily dismiss them because they don't have the talent or the depth, because they didn't have it last year and it didn't seem to stop them from going to the finals.
No, I like that one. I'm going to go the other direction. You're going with the dogs, which I love. I love the underdog story. That's the Miami Heat every single year. I'm going to go with the talent. They still make me nervous. Yeah, I don't hate you for that. I'm going to go with the talent. I'm going to say the Bucks. I'm going to say, Dame,
It's
Giannis,
fair.
Middleton, Bobby
Fair.
Portis, Brook Lopez. I feel like the reason they're off to a bad start is not because of the players and the talent. Like you said, coaching means a lot in this league. They have a rookie one. They have a rookie head coach here, so I feel like that is going to start to go up, trend up for the Bucks. So I think they're going to be our biggest threat going forward. Next question. Cool Genuine Phil asks, do you think the Celtics will end up with a franchise record of wins this season?
No.
Uh,
Oh, what is the franchise record?
I don't know what the franchise record is.
Sorry. I thought he was talking about the Golden State record I just referenced. I thought that
I'll
it
look it
was
up,
that.
but you start answering it. In terms of, I was just in terms
Yeah,
of, do you
yeah,
think we?
yeah, Fubs. Make me answer a question. I don't know what the record is. I'm gonna say no because honestly, I don't even care what the record is because it's probably gonna be an emphatic no because I already picked them to win 62 games and I don't think that's gonna be the record. So
Let's see. I'm trying to look it up here. I think I don't know. I have no idea. It's hard to find. Maybe like I think 67.
okay, I'm going 62 and 20 Fubs. It's not gonna happen.
68 is actually what I saw. Okay, 68. So I
No,
probably not.
62 and 20 is gonna be their record this year.
Probably
So
not,
no,
but I do think they could maybe get close.
I
62 is
don't care.
close. Yeah, it doesn't really matter.
I could care.
Only matters in the playoffs.
I just want them to go to the finals and win. But it's a fair question because they do have the ability, right? So it's
uh,
I'm not poo-pooing the question because at the end of the day, they could very well have the talent to do that. But do I think ultimately they're going to prioritize that? No. Just like I don't think they'll prioritize the in-season tournament, as you alluded to. I think it's all
yep.
one and the same.
Yep. All right. Here's a little bit of a troll question, but maybe a real question. Not really too sure. By Serial Man 02, he asked
Okay.
Ricky, and I'll leave this question for you.
Okay.
Just you. He says,
Okay.
he says, who on the Celtics will guard Naz Reid in the finals? Well, Naz Reid did cook us when we played them. He was the sole reason they won that game.
Oh my goodness.
No, he was tough.
Whatever, man. In the finals, sure. I mean, I'll put Luke Cornett on him. How's that?
Luke Cornett. Okay, next question by Colin Driscoll. He says, should we have minutes where JB is supposed to run the offense with the bench, despite his passing and handling not improving? Well, I would say his passing has improved a little bit, still making some bad turnover decisions at times, but I feel like his passing ability has improved this season. I think he's making some great passes, especially in that Raptors game. But I think, yes, I think he should have control of the offense, especially when Tatum's on the bench. What do you think?
Yeah. I mean, they're always going to have one of the guards with him, and I think ultimately that's going to be, whether it's Pritchard or it's Drew or it's Derek. I think ultimately they're going to be the primary when he rolls with the bench. You're right. I think ultimately it's his ball handling's gotten a little bit better. His passing's got a little bit better. He still gets sloppy. He still can't go left. So it's that whole thing. But I don't foresee it being an issue. If that's really ultimately what this comes down to.
Yeah. Okay, so I think he should. But next question, we got Kinky Karen. Will it be? Oh, this is a Ricky question. Will it be best for a trade of Cornette for extra depth? Question mark.
What are you gonna get for Luke Cornett? Come on, man. I mean, this is like what? What are you gonna get?
You're probably not going to get much, but you could
A third round
package
pick?
him up.
A third round pick?
Yeah.
Am I getting a third round pick for him?
Yeah.
I know third round picks don't
Maybe.
exist. Don't kill me. I know they don't exist.
Maybe
That's
we
the
could
joke.
what about this, Ricky? A cross sport trade. Trade Luke Cornett to LA for Shohei Ohtani. That would work.
Sure. Whatever. I'll
right.
give him away for a bag of Skittles. I literally don't. I don't even want him to play. I don't want
sour
him to
Skittles or regular.
What do you? No, but serious question. What do you get, Luke Cornett?
Yeah, you're not getting much
Cornett?
for Luke Cornett.
Nothing. No, the answer, Fubs, is nothing.
Well, you
It's
could
nothing.
package him up with people.
Sure, but not just Luke Cornett.
Yeah,
You
Payton
could-
Pritchard. Yeah,
you-
I get it. So probably nothing. You're probably getting nothing in return. But honestly, if we could get a second for Luke Cornett, I'm doing it.
If you get a second for Luke Cornett, Brad is the greatest GM of all time. Period. The greatest.
Okay.
That'll be the greatest trade in Celtics history. If Danny's getting even the 30th pick of the second round. If I keep saying Danny. I'm sorry. If Brad makes that trade, he's the go bona fide to get that bum out of here and somehow get a pick for him.
Okay. You know what? Hey, shout out to Luke Cornett, man. We're gonna get him on show one of these days.
Okay. I'll ask him why he looks like a deer in headlights when he plays.
Okay, next question. Rui Mass says, great show, but are we peaking too early? How to manage this kind of performance at minimum for the playoffs? So, are we peaking too early? I would say no, just because this team is new together.
I don't think they've peaked yet.
I don't either.
I don't think they've peaked.
I don't think so either.
I think if this is the best you're gonna see, I think you're in trouble. Honestly, I think they got to play better than this.
Yeah, we need to play better. I mean, it's still very early. What 10 games or 12 games in? We still have two brand new starters.
Winning games does not equivalent to top performing. So if you're
No, yeah.
winning basketball games, it doesn't necessarily mean you're playing your best brand of basketball. It's still
I,
early. I don't even really care if they peak during the regular season at all. I mean, if they're going to peak, let's peak game 60 on. You know what I mean? Well after the All-Star break, if you're gonna peak, but they haven't peaked yet.
You know what would tell me they're peaking is if they come out in the third quarter and drop 45 points. That's it. That's all I want to see. Drop 45 in the third.
They were close. They were close.
They?
See, yeah, 39 the other night.
Oh, versus the Sixers. Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
but, all right,
no, Toronto.
In the
second quarter. No, the second was 39 points.
No, I'm saying the third quarter, coming out of halftime.
Oh, the third. Oh, I'm sorry. Sorry. The third quarter. Yeah, that would be nice. You know what else would be nice, Fubs? How about like 4 consecutive solid quarters with
just consistency.
Good, 30 plus, 28 plus points a quarter. How about that? Can we do that? That would be a good start. I know that can't happen every quarter, every single game. But this team hasn't peaked yet.
Yep. All right. We got a couple more questions here. And guys, keep sending these questions in. We love this. It gives us a long segment at the end.
Yeah, at this rate, we're going to have to do 2 different shows just to answer all these questions.
we got a couple more. We got David Roos says, All-Star predictions, will KP make it? And will JB be All-NBA again? All-NBA for JB. Question. Did you say All-NBA for JB?
I said All-NBA because you're talking about the second scoring option. I think JB would be All-NBA Team 2. I do think he'll be second team All-NBA. Will KP be an All-Star? Sure. Yeah, I think he'd be All-Star.
If we're the 1 seed, I think he could be an All-Star.
Yeah, I think he'd be All-Star for sure.
Yeah. You know what
I don't want him. I don't want him to be. I'd rather have him sit home and relax and not get hurt over some All-Star game. But sure.
You know what could be crazy though, Ricky?
He could be an All-Star. What?
I was talking about this with Eric on stream the other day. I was looking at our starting 5, and I said this in my head and said this to him. I said I think JT can make All-NBA. I think JB can make All-NBA. We just said we think KP can make the All-Star team, maybe potentially. But then I think Drew and Derek can both make an All-Defensive team.
Yeah.
And I also believe that JT and KP can make an all-defensive team as well. Maybe even JB. I think all of these guys will win some sort of award.
Oh, I mean, this starting 5 could win All-NBA.
I'm
serious. I'm not joking.
Is there 3 teams? Is there 3 or 2? I think it's 2.
It's 2.
I think it's
2 teams. I think all 5 guys have the ability to be on either of those 2 lists.
Yeah, because now it's positionless, so it doesn't even matter. Like they'll just stack positions as well. So
yeah.
So maybe you might see a lot of awards won here for the Celtics this year if they stay healthy, if they stay consistent. So
it'll summarize the season. If you see that happening at the regular season, that's because we're the 1 seed. It's because we got the best record in the NBA, if not at least the best record in the East. And and then our defensive rating as a whole is top 5 in the league.
Yeah, and if that all does happen, let's just say it does, I guarantee you Joe Mazzulla, Coach of the Year. I guarantee you Brad Stevens, GM of the Year. And I guarantee you Jason Tatum, MVP. I mean, that's what, if that all comes together, that's probably what you're looking at. I mean, Brad Stevens for GM of the Year is probably already won.
No pressure, guys. That's not high expectations or anything. Just win every award. Just like whatever award ceremony they go do at the end of the season, they just win everything.
Yeah, let's cut that part out. I'm just kidding. But all right, next question. Mr. Bird says, what will the Celtics record be at the end of the season? Ricky already answered that. He said 62 wins. I would say roughly around there. I would say maybe a little bit more. I think
you said 58 in an old episode.
I did say 58, but the way we're playing right now, I think we're really damn good. I don't know. I think we're good. I think we can actually win a little bit more than 60. So I do like your initial bet. I do like yours. Yours is pretty good. All right, we got 2 more questions. Squeeze says, would the C's be this good if Ime was still coaching the team?
They'd be better.
I think
they'd be better, Fubs. Look what he's doing in Houston, Fubs. Look what he's doing to these guys. Look at these buy-in. Look at the defense. Look at the way they're playing basketball. It would be better. So okay. Let's just remember something. They're great as is. So when I say better, I'm talking marginally. But that's the question, right? It's to me, I feel like Ime really had the locker room. I feel like guys really respected him, and guys wanted to play hard for him. Now, whatever the hell was going on with this coming out of the second quarter, I mean, coming out of the halftime playing the way, because it was worse. Like, I feel like when when
Yeah,
Ime
we
was
were
here,
still blowing leads.
you could blow leads like crazy, but at the same time, guys really like to play with him, and he was the type of person to be like, call a timeout and tell them they're playing like a bunch of a-holes. He
Yeah.
would say that to them. You know what I mean? And I think guys respect that. Look at the team in Houston. Just a bunch of guys who you feel like just were ready
That's
to.
all you have to say. Just a bunch of guys, but
Yeah,
they're playing good.
But the talent individually was solid, but they never, like,
Lived
guys
up to
just wouldn't.
expectations.
Well, guys just didn't play like a team. He's
Yeah.
getting them to play like a team. He's getting buy-in. He's got guys like Dylan Brooks now. I know a lot of people got a lot of hate on Dylan Brooks. You know me, I'm a Dylan Brooks guy. And so he's got a bunch of buy-in. They got a young, talented team, guys that want to play. He's putting the young guys in. He's getting buy-in, and they're winning games. Are they going to make a run? Probably not. They don't have enough talent for that. But listen, they could very well be the surprise team of the season just based off of the landscape and just how they're playing. You know, they could be, I'm not going to say they're going to have like the Sacramento record of last season, but you know how like nobody really picked Sacramento to be that good. And then, oh, look at the 2 seed. They're that good, right?
Yep.
And obviously they fell short.
Or they could end up being like Utah, who, if you remember last year, started off like nasty. They were like the head of everything, and then they fell back to earth. So could be either way.
Totally could be that. But my only thing with Ime is Ime, to me, is a player's coach. And in the NBA, that is above all else. That is above all else. If this team had Ime last year, we're going to the finals. If this team, and that's not a knock on Joe. Joe was put in an impossible situation and made the best of it. I'm not crapping on Joe, so don't go nuts on me here. I'm just stating the facts. If Ime was here, this team goes to the finals last year. If Ime's here now, is the record better as currently stands? Probably not. We're probably still 10-2. But are we probably a more prepared team with a better game plan? And I feel more confident in this team to be better when the playoffs start? 100%. I have way more confidence. I mean, look at the way Joe Mazzulla handles these post games. Sometimes it's cringy as hell. He just gets so defensive and obnoxious about the whole thing. And I feel like Ime he lives and dies by his decisions, man. He rides with his guys, and his guys respect him. And I think ultimately that's what makes his teams better.
I definitely miss Ime here. I definitely do. Think
I miss Ime.
I definitely do think we'd be a little bit better, but I don't hate Joe, man. I don't hate Joe at all.
I don't hate Joe. Joe's been fine. Joe's, again, put in an impossible situation, making the best of it. I'm not crapping on Joe. Do I hate his strategical planning and his overall craze with statistics and the 3-point shot and shooting X amount of threes? Yes, all that stuff drives me bananas. You know that. I've been on record about this. I don't like this type of game plan. But he does, for somebody with his little amount of experience, he has done more than I've ever thought he would do.
Yeah. Yeah, I completely agree. So
I got to be fair about that. No, and for the record, I thought it was going to be a disaster last season, and it wasn't. And me and you had this conversation via text prior. Like, I was ready to go. I was ready to go rebel out in the streets of Boston after they hired this dude. I'm like, oh great, some guy to get all excited about from Providence. We're gonna suck. And I really did. I thought it was going to be a disaster. I thought, halfway through the season, guys were going to be getting ready to get out the door. And he did. He did the exact opposite of that. So I was wrong. I'll admit I was wrong about him when he first came here. But I still think, to answer his question, yes, they would be a better team today overall if they had Ime as opposed to Joe. Yes.
Do you think that Joe is a player coach? Because I kind of do. I think he lets the guys do what they really want to do. He says shoot threes, but I think he's
a superstar coach. I don't know if he's a player coach. I think guys like Tatum and Brown really like Joe. And I know Tatum does, because I think the reason why he got the job ultimately, and I don't have any obviously information on this, but I know that Joe was Tatum's guy. Yeah. And I think ultimately it makes sense, right? If you got to have an interim come in, why not bring in the guy that your superstar really likes, right?
Yeah, well, obviously, if they didn't like him, he wouldn't be here right now.
Of course. So, I think when it comes to Tatum and Brown, I feel like he takes the reins off and lets them go. Yeah. My issue with him is I don't know. Well, I know he's not a player's coach because I don't think Marcus Smart liked him.
I don't think
I don't
Jones
think
will like Marcus Smart.
maybe not vice versa. I don't think they respected what I maybe not disliked each other, but I don't think they respected each other's authority, or at least Marcus didn't. I mean, he's hopping in the coach's chair and undermining Joe in post game and interviews, saying that Joe messed up. We should be putting Rob Williams in. They're getting into him, saying why isn't Rob Williams starting in the Miami Heat series? I'm like, all this stuff's documented. I'm not making this stuff up.
Yeah.
So I think just by that prime example, I feel like maybe Marcus Smart isn't here anymore because he was anti-Joe. You know what I mean?
That's a good point, Ricky, because I'll say one thing. If Ime Udoka was still here, I guarantee you Marcus and Rob are probably still here. The only reason we went out and got a Porzingis and got a Drew is because one thing, they could shoot the 3-ball. And they fit
well,
fit
you know
Joe's
what? You know what?
scheme more.
You might be right, Fubs, because if Ime was here last season, there would be a higher probability we go to the finals, which obviously means we'd have a chance to win the finals. And then if you win the finals, right, are you even really changing your squad?
Probably not.
Probably not. Okay.
So
I mean, these are all hypotheticals, of course.
Yeah.
But
Okay, one more question. And this question literally just came in like 5 minutes ago, so we're gonna answer it, and then we're gonna head off here. Almost an hour long podcast already, but whatever. So Hector Korea says, should JB switch the first quarter sub with Tatum and play Svi more while Tatum is on the floor? So basically, what he's saying is Tatum usually hits the bench first, lets JB play the entirety of the first quarter. Should they switch it and have JB come off first and have Tatum play the first? I feel like it's
no.
I would just say I would just ride with the hot hand. If JB comes out, Ricky, and has 8 points in the first 4 minutes, ride him out. If JT has 8 points in the first 4 minutes, ride him out. That's what I would do.
I would say, I guess, if you wanted to make the option matchup dependent, sure. But I'm a big if it's not broke, don't fix it type of guy, and I don't think it's broken. I think that for as much as we give Joe a hard time, I think he's done a good job rotating these guys, and I feel good about the rotation. I just hope that we can get the proper support that we need when guys like Tatum are resting. I think ultimately that's what it matters. But I think really guys like Derek White fulfilling a lot of those obligations. I think he's given you a lot of points and spots. It seems like every time Derek White, you need a point, Derek White gives it to you almost every single time. It's like, we really need a basket right now. And there he is in the corner. Yep. Hucking up 3 and nothing but net, man. It's just, no. So I don't hate it. Okay. So I'm not saying I wouldn't do it. I'm just saying as the landscape is currently set, I wouldn't change it.
And then he asked about Svi playing more. I mean, this just goes to the depth. Usually we play 8. We don't go much more than 8 deep. Now, on other teams, past seasons, we used to go 9, 10 deep. Are you concerned, or do you think we should run 9, 10 people off the bench to keep more guys more energized throughout the game?
I think that you'll ultimately see a lot of this later in the season as they start to establish a cushion. I do think that this team prioritizes a 1 seed this year, and I think they're trying to get it as quickly as possible. You get a 4 or 5 game cushion. Yeah. Regardless of where you are into the season, you maybe feel more comfortable in seeing what you got from these other guys. If you take a loss, you take a loss. I really do think they're trying to prioritize getting as many wins as possible. Hopefully, guys, other teams are taking too long to compile as many wins. Obviously, you have Philly right behind you right now.
Yep.
But say those things slip, say, they start losing games, you start winning games, all of a sudden you're 4 or 5 up on Philly. I think you could start to see some guys taking some time off. Plus, again, we're 12 games. 12 games? 12 games into the season. So, dude, I don't know what it is.
It's only our 4th time saying it.
We're 12 games into the season. So, it's so early. Yeah. So, I mean, we're an 8th into the season if you want to look at it like that. You know what I mean? Like, it's we still have all these games to go. So, I don't know. It's too early for this.
Okay, one last question, then we're done.
Okay.
Outside of our top 8 players, Ricky, and this question is for me. Out of our top 8 players, who are 2 guys you want to see get some more playing time? For me, I'm going to go with Svi and Keita.
I'd like to see more of Banton, and I too would like to see more of Svi. Yes.
Okay.
I agree with that.
I love that. I do want
I
to
don't
see them play
understand.
more.
I don't understand Svi because he wasn't some 12th man
No,
from
he
his
started at times.
I know. That's what I don't understand. So I don't know if he's just not giving it in practice, if it's just not, this team is extremely deep. So let's be honest. You know what I mean? Best case scenario, he's the 8th or ninth best guy on the team.
Yeah.
I don't prioritize him over Pritchard, but if Pritchard's going to just not give you anything, I get you paid him. So I'm not saying don't play him, but sit the kid down. If Luke Cornett looks like he's got a deer in headlights, which is most of the time, sit him down and put Svi in.
Yeah. All right. Or Kata, man. Put Kata in. I want to see Kata.
Yeah. Listen. I will allow for any Lamar Stevens. Dude, I'm not some savant in the 10th man in the rotation. I'm really not. So if you want to put a guy in and see what he's got, I'm all for it.
Yeah. All right, guys. With that being said, we're going to head out of here. Make sure you guys leave a comment, ask some more questions. I don't know if Ricky's going to be available for the next week podcast. Will you be here for next week?
Nope, I will be away next week, guys. Unfortunately,
Okay.
you will not. I will not be on the pod next week. Peer pressure Fubbies to get a fun guest in here. Maybe he can come out here with you guys. My boy EJT, maybe get him out here.
Might be able
boy
to get
EJT
Eric on stream.
or maybe Eric on stream.
Yeah.
We got some boys out here that know some hoops. Maybe get them to talk some hoops with you.
You know what? Luke Cornett, man, you're coming. It's your time, baby. Luke Cornett coming on.
Yeah, see, I come off, so you bring Luke Cornett on. That makes a lot of sense to me.
Yeah,
I would.
time.
Yeah, talking shit about me, maybe. It's like, who is this guy? He doesn't play basketball. He's Portuguese and unathletic. He's telling me I suck. Yeah, I am telling you suck because I don't get paid millions of dollars to play basketball. You do. There's a difference.
Right. So leave a comment. Who do you guys want to be the co-host for next episode? Ricky will be back in a couple of weeks. But with that being
2
said,
weeks. I'll be back next week. We'll probably do a post. I'll find a post game for us to do early. I'll be back next weekend. So maybe we'll do a post game. I don't know if do they play next weekend?
They play next Sunday too. Next Sunday too as well.
Okay, so maybe we'll do a post. That's the following week, but we could do a post game that day. We'll figure it out. Don't worry, I won't be gone longer than a week. But yes, I will be away. You guys have fun without me for a little bit. But I'll be back. Don't worry, I'll be back.
Yeah, he'll be back. I'll still be posting the post game episodes on here. I'll still be I'll get a pod out. Don't worry, I'll get a pod out even if it's like a 20-minute mailbag episode. I will get it out. So make sure you guys leave a comment, hit the like button, subscribe if you're new, join the family, and we'll see you guys on the next episode. Peace.